Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time of day it is that you happen to come across this message. I want to start by saying welcome to my channel for those of you who are new, and welcome back to those of you who have seen previous videos. You guys probably heard my my brake squeaking in the background because I did not give my car a chance to warm up this morning like I normally do. I just kind of jumped in and was like, let's go. I had a calling this morning when I woke up that I needed to be out in nature today. I'm off today. Don't really have much to do other than a few errands that I gave myself since I am off today. But Mother Nature was like, we need you to get back out in nature today. And there is actually a nature trail that's not too far from where I live that I used to go to, but I stopped going once the weather got really, really hot outside. But since it's starting to cool down, I think I'm just gonna go and do like a mile or two, and I may even do a short while I'm there, just to show you guys the scenery because it's so beautiful. But anyways, I'm on my way to the nature trail because that's what Mother Nature wants me to do this morning. And I'm really learning to be more obedient to spirit, to stop procrastinating and putting things off, but to actually get up and do things, as I'm told. But I just had this this message that came through, and it's perfect because this picture that I'm using actually goes perfect with the message, as well as it's also showing a depiction of nature. And I always believe in giving credit where credit is due. So I don't, I never want to make it seem like I normally always put the disclaimers, or I would put, the name of the artist when I would post songs. But I never want to make it seem like I'm trying to take credit for another person's work. So I always want to make sure that I'm giving credit. So this artwork, it has @Awoken, SHIT. So I'm going to assume that is the author or the creator. So, shouts out to you, because this picture, this depiction that is not mine, actually goes great with the message that came through this morning. So I'm one of those people where, like, I love, like, the underdog, right? I love supporting and just supporting, people who are putting themselves out there, who are new, coming onto the scene, right? Because I honestly don't think people understand how much courage it takes to really put yourself out there. And that's not necessarily for everybody. Some people, just have that kind of courage where they don't mind jumping in front of a crowd or jumping out there in front of the scene. Whereas for other people, like me, who kind of struggle with, who grew up struggling with insecurities, it's a little bit harder, and it takes a lot of courage and a lot of kind of just amping yourself up to even be able to do that. So anytime that I'm on YouTube and I see, like, videos, whether it be content or like music, people putting out their music, or people showcasing their artwork or their craft, especially when it's a smaller channel, I always like to support, give a like, a comment of encouragement or something like that, because I know that it takes a lot of courage, to put yourself out there. So when I was, like, thinking about this, well, actually, there was a song, because I don't know who the artist is. I don't even remember how long ago. Like, it would have to be a long time ago. But I remember, like, I was listening to some artist that posted a video on YouTube, like, years ago, and it was like, what did they say? If you what did I say? Hold on, let me make sure I get it right. If you walk that talk, they gonna follow suit. Put your captain hat on and they gonna salute, right? So just really about, like, if you put yourself out there, if you go ahead and step out and put yourself out there, like, Spirit wants you to know that people are going to follow suit. People are going to be interested in hearing what it is that you have to say. Because I feel like there's somebody out there who wants to do something but is too afraid because they're so focused on what other people are going to have to say. And Spirit is like, look, everything is going to work out exactly as it's meant to be. Like, Spirit is like, you're worried about not being good enough, and whole time you don't even realize you're overqualified. And I'm also hearing like there's someone out there where there's a job opportunity. Like, someone is being presented with a job opportunity that's going to be a promotion, that's going to be in a position of leadership. And I can hear this person second guessing themselves, like, well, what if people come to me with questions and I don't have the answers? Well, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're newly in the position. You just tell them, well, give me a second and I'll make sure I'll get clarification for you. Like, that ain't no problem. But I always know that there are those few people that are like, well, if you're going to be in leadership, then you need to know, and I should be able, like, no, like, squash all that. Like, we're not doing that. And although we know there are individuals who will intentionally try to give you a hard time if they believe that you took a position that they were meant for, Spirit is like, that position was not meant for them. First of all, they don't have the personality for it. It's not always about years of experience. When you're stepping into positions of leadership, when you're stepping into positions where you're going to be accountable for something, having those interpersonal skills matter. And they matter a lot, because I don't know if you've all seen it. I work in healthcare, and it's sad. It's sad. Like, my coworkers made a joke the other day because of how many people we've lost. Like, in the past, over the summer. Matter of fact, I was going to say in the past year, but I can even limit that to in the past 3 months, because we are just now in September, and I think the first person left back in like June. So in the past 3 months, we have lost 40% of our staffing. 40% of our staffing. On day shift, we started off in my department. We started off, well, it's not my department because I'm not the one over it. But in the department that I work in, we started off with 10 people. And that was considered fully staffed with 10 people. We are down now to 5. And, well, 4 people resigned completely. 1 person dropped down to part-time. So we went from having 10 full-time people to now we have 5 full-time people and 1 part-timer. So instead of, so like 40%, actually more like 45%, since that other person went now to part-time. So we've lost 45% in staffing. And I don't think, people realize, like, whoever you, and all of this happened after we had someone new promoted into a leadership position. And I don't think people realize, like, how important having those interpersonal skills are when you're in a position of leadership. But I feel like there's someone out there who your job wants to promote you because of the fact that you have those interpersonal skills, right? But you're looking at it more as like, well, I don't have the amount of years in service as some of these other people who applied. But management is looking at it like, yeah, they have more years in service, but their personalities are not fitting of the job. And if we promote them, we know that we're going to end up losing people, right? So Spirit wants you to go for that job. Spirit wants you to go for that job. For those of you who are thinking of going back to school and starting a whole new field altogether, Spirit wants you to go for it. Be practical about it. Now, let me say that Spirit is reminding me, like, don't quit your job and go back to school and you have no income. Spirit's not telling you to do that. Spirit wants you to find a practical route to get it done. But Spirit wants you to go for it. Spirit wants you to go for it, right? For those of you who are thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you're like, well, oh, there are already so many other people out here. There are already so many other tarot readers. It doesn't matter. They're not you. They're not you. And Spirit has a message uniquely that they're trying to give to you. Do not worry about other people who are trying to steal your shine. And for the collective, I'm getting that you guys have been dealing with that all your life. People stealing your shine, taking credit. And that's why I started this off by saying, let me make sure I give credit. Because part of the message was, people taking credit for your hard work and your accomplishments. I worked for this one place in a state that I actually had to pack up and just leave the whole state. I worked for this one place where I was a float, where I worked for this company, but I was a float, so I would work for several different locations within this company. They had multiple clinics, and I would work at several different ones. So one of them, they had this one individual who was heading over one clinic, and when I tell you, like, the books and everything were just unorganized, they were out of whack, everything was just completely out of place. They had an inspection and they failed. They failed horribly, to the point where when the inspection ended, they told them that if they did not get all this fixed within a year, because the inspection is supposed to be every 2 years, everything was so out of whack that they initially gave them 6 months, but ended up extending it to a year. But they told them, like, if all of this is not straightened within this time frame, we are going to shut this whole facility down. And I remember, like, working with the manager and getting all this stuff together. And the manager, unfortunately, was overseeing all the clinics, and there were like 8 total. There were 8 total. And the manager was overseeing all of them and did not have time to put all of her focus and energy on that one, because of the fact that they all had deficiencies, but only this one was in threat of being shut down. So you would think that they would have put a little bit more effort towards the one being shut down, but the manager just didn't have the time because they had too much that they were responsible for. And because this was a smaller corporation, they weren't getting paid as much as they would have gotten paid if they were over, like, let's say a bigger healthcare system. So they were working, this manager was also working part-time somewhere else in the evenings, for additional income. So that person who ended up failing the inspection left. They were in fear of losing their job, which they, were right. Spirit told them right. Spirit told them to get on out of there. And that's exactly what they did. So they up and left. And with me being the float, I ended up getting assigned to that specific facility, until they could hire another full-time person. So every day I'm there, I'm working, doing my job, but at the same time going through the books, reorganizing, straightening out, getting together everything that needed to be, put together. And in the meantime, they ended up hiring someone else, and this person came in, and I mean, one of the worst personalities that I have ever come across in my life. One of those type of people who, like, very sabotaging, like someone who will do something, like, I don't even know if I can explain it without, like, giving too many details, but, like, just one of those coworkers who will purposely do something in order for things to mess up, right? And it was so strange. It was so strange. So it was me, and luckily there was another person that worked there with me that wasn't in the same position that I was in, but that worked in that same department with me. So we used to, take our lunch breaks together, but we literally had to stagger our lunch breaks so that someone was in that department at all times to keep an eye on this person who was intentionally trying to sabotage things. Like, I've never in my life seen that. And it got to the point where I went to the manager and I was like, you know what? I am so sorry. I can't do this. I cannot do this. But before I left, I did get everything in order. So they rehad the inspection. They passed. I think there was one thing that I didn't get back in place, but out of like 19 deficiencies, I think one is not that bad, right? But there was one thing that I overlooked, right? When they came back to do the reinspection, this person was there. So, like, they showered this person, was like, oh my God, you walked in the door of this place that was a complete mess and all this stuff. I think I only worked that job for like 1 year. Yeah, I was at that job for like 1 year before I left. So when I walked in, it was a complete mess. But they were like praising this individual, like, oh my goodness, like, you came in to a facility that was about to get shut down, that was a complete mess, and you turned it all around. They said that person got so much praise and got awards and all this stuff. But the manager reached out to me and she said, I feel so guilty because this person is literally sitting here soaking up all of this credit. This person is literally sitting here getting all of these pats on the back, like the physicians that are over the I was about to say it's a specific type of physician, but I don't want to say that without speaking too much. But they were like giving this person like gift cards and all of this stuff. And she said this person is sitting here smiling like, yeah, it was hard. Like literally like, yeah, it was a lot of work, but you know, I do what has to be done. And she said it made her, this is the manager, said that it made her sick to her stomach watching this person take all the credit for what I had done. And, you know, I told her, I said, you know what? I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter to me. It does not even matter to me. I said, because I've never been the type of person where I want to be in the limelight. If I would have been there when all that stuff was happening, all of that attention would have made me feel uncomfortable anyways. So I'm not even upset about it. But I said, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just glad that everything worked, because I was not there when the re-inspection happened. I'm glad that everything passed because, you know, things were in such bad shape that the higher ups told the manager that if that facility got shut down, that she was going to have to lose her job. And it's because of the fact, you know, that you know, she's the manager, she should have been keeping a better eye on it. But they don't realize that when this person has 8 clinics to look after, it's not as easy. You know, sometimes one may slip under the cracks, and one out of 8 really isn't that bad, you know, but you know, to them, any out of 8 is that bad. And from a higher up perspective, like, I get it. I get it. And I was just happy that this manager didn't lose their position. Now, I haven't spoken to them since, but I did hear from the other person who worked in there with me, the assistant that worked in there with me. I did hear that manager ended up giving up that position. And I hate that because that person was really good at it. They had a lot on their back, a lot on their shoulders, and were not even getting paid what they were worth. But that person was really good at what they did. So I hope that wherever they went, they're getting treated with the respect that they deserve. And I'm hoping that they're getting paid what they deserve. But either way it goes, like, you know, I'm getting that you're someone, and I went all the way around the world to say this, but I'm getting that you're someone who doesn't always get the credit for the things that you do. But Spirit is like, that's going to be no more. That's going to be no more. That's, you know, that's a thing of the past. Like, Spirit needs you to step into this position of leadership so that you can get the credit that you're due. Because I'm hearing that you're someone that behind the scenes, you actually do a lot more work than what people realize. Or I'm hearing that behind the scenes, you do a lot more work and you thought people didn't realize, but that's why they are wanting to promote you into this higher position, because they actually do realize how much you do behind the scenes, right? And that's why they want you in this position. So definitely take that promotion. Start that YouTube channel, okay? Leave that job and take that new job that's in a completely different field. If they offered you the position, they feel like you're qualified for it. Take that new job. I'm just hearing go for it. Like, seriously, I'm hearing go for it. You know, stop thinking that you're not good enough, because Spirit wants you to know that you are overqualified, okay? That's the message for today. And it's longer than I intended. I always say it's going to be really quick, and I end up talking forever because I'm just naturally long-winded. To people that really, really know me. People who don't know me will say that I'm really quiet. People who know me are like, no, she never stops talking. But either way, that's the message for today. Thank you all for listening. Chosen ones, which path are you going to choose? Anyways, bye.